Young Bucks versus FTR. A lot of people hyping this match for years and years and years.
Yeah.
FTR and the Young Bucks will have a match and everyone will rejoice, was the tweet from both Matt Jackson and Dax Harwood. I believe it was Dax Harwood. This match delivered. This match was awesome.
Yep.
My initial reaction to this match, and I texted this to you, was I think I just watched the best Young Bucks match ever. And I know a lot of people are saying, no, it wasn't. The one with Omega and Page was better. We'll see what Dave Meltzer gives it for a rating. He might give it 6 stars, 6.5 stars. If it was in the Tokyo Dome, it'd be 9 stars. But this match was awesome. I love the tribute to all the different tag teams, from the Dudleys to the Hardys to even DIY, an NXT tag team being featured in an AEW match.
Well, DIY was a huge part of the revival back in NXT. That was one of their biggest rivalries. So, that was definitely cool and interesting to see.
And you know what the funny thing is we talked about this in the prediction show last night, is FTR, FTR thinks FTR stands for follow the rules. The Young Bucks think FTR means forget the rules. When they were wrestling in a traditional sense, the match was slow. It was a slow build. Yeah. But once it got more to the Young Bucks style, it kicked ass.
Well, I think so. This was the story that I thought they were going to tell. So we knew that Matt was injured going into the match. So a lot of it focused around keeping him grounded, keeping him on the mat, making sure they couldn't do their high spots, making sure they couldn't get into their sync where they're doing their tag team wrestling maneuvers and all that type of stuff. So that was the early portion of the match. And as things moved on and as things progressed and as they started to do move after move after move in tribute to various tag teams, all of which you just mentioned, I think the story that ultimately got told was once FTR couldn't beat them in their own game plan in traditional professional wrestling, Cash ultimately decided, okay, I'm going to beat them at their own game, and that was their demise. And I thought that was a brilliant part of the story that they were trying to tell, because they're saying all along for years has been, no flips, all fists or whatever, something like that. And ultimately, it was the 450 springboard 450, I think, that was led to the super kick and ultimately their loss.
Yeah.
And shockingly enough, it was something as simple and subtle as a super kick that closed out the night. No crazy Meltzer driver, no crazy backflip, nothing like that. All the stuff that you want to be critical of the Young Bucks for. And if you're not a fan of the Young Bucks, I think this proved that yes, they are capable of working a style other than just what they're working on a weekly basis on Dynamite. But again, FTR, this is why you brought them into AEW, to raise the level of competition, to raise the standard, because they are very good. And I think last night kind of proved to AEW fans that they are one of the best tag teams in the world. And I think that the Young Bucks also silenced some of their critics as well last night. So I thought it was a very, very good match.
And let's also give credit to the Young Bucks too. A lot of people that are anti-Bucks say that Matt Jackson can't sell. He's like Road Warrior Hawk. I mean, Jim Cornette calls him Road Warrior Buck.
Buck Hogan now.
Now he's Buck Hogan? Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. I haven't listened to Cornette in a while, but whatever it is, Road Warrior Buck, Buck Hogan, either way, the dude could sell. And yes, I understand his knee is a legit injury, but that played into the story so much more because they couldn't do the Meltzer driver. They couldn't do the flips. And they had to beat them in FTR's game, where FTR needed, as you mentioned, FTR needed to beat the Bucks in the Bucks game. And it was such a role reversal that made this match so much better.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, it really was a good match. Really was. And, someone else pointed this. Someone pointed this in the chat. Miguel, thank you very much for pointing this out, because I didn't notice it until now. Talk about the Lakers and Celtics throwback. You have FTR wearing green, and you have the Young Bucks wearing black, purple, and gold. Laker colors. Yep. Obviously, the Bucks, did you see on Twitter with the Bucks that they did like their own like locker room celebration?
With the Welch's grape juice?
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
so where do you think this goes from here? Do we see an immediate rematch? Do we get Matt, who's supposedly injured? He says it's not that bad. Do we get a split where the FTR takes the titles back, and then we get it ultimately decided in like a ladder match between the two. I don't know. Does FTR go away?
This isn't the last we see of these two, but I would keep them away for as long as possible. I don't want this to end up like WWE, where like we see this match 500 times in 3 months. I don't want to see this.
No New Day Uso feud.
No. Also, I don't want this like Orange Cassidy and Jericho. We got 3 matches within a 2-month span and big shows. I would save it for All Out next year and do a ladder match, because FTR, when they were in WWE, they perfected the ladder match, I think. Regardless if it was with DIY and AOP, the New Day, they had some really good ladder matches. And obviously, a lot of people think that the Young Bucks are like the king of ladder matches. If you thought this match was good, I think the ladder match would be even better. And just let the Bucks have it till now. And then you have a third match a few months down after that. Keep these guys as separated as possible. But you talk about what's next for the Bucks. Did you notice in the celebration in the ring, Kenny comes out and celebrates with the guys, and at the end, you see in the back, in the shadows of the entranceway, is Hangman Page. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that, and the reason for that was I actually fell asleep, and I went back and watched this match this morning. So I did not actually get to see that part because I shut it off right after the match.
That was just storytelling. So you have Hangman Page losing earlier, and he looks, distraught, obviously, because he just lost a big match. He walks out with the referee, comes out here again, and is looking in the shadows at the Elite, who had big wins. Bucks beating FTR, Kenny beating Hangman, and there is poor Hangman. So what do you think is next for Hangman Page?
Well, I thought that Kenny was going to be the guy that lost, and that was going to be the thing that caused him to snap, and then we were going to get the cleaner. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe Hangman's the guy that's going to get pushed to the edge. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him.
Yeah.
We know that he is close with FTR. So, Fear the Revelation, this 4 horseman group, maybe it ends up being FTR, Hangman, and Shawn Spears. That could be possibility.
Maybe. Yep. We'll see. We'll see. And I know some people brought up the fact that Tully wasn't at ringside for this match. Do you think that was an issue?
No, I liked it better. I wanted, Tully's good in his role. And I think that a lot of times FTR works a really good match from a heel standpoint and he gets involved. But I think for a match this big, I wouldn't want to see somebody get involved in it to, kind of tarnish it in any way.
For our full review of AEW Full Gear, click the link in the description, or you could click the thumbnail on the screen showing right now. And to join our conversation, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. We have new episodes every Sunday afternoon, Tuesday, and Thursday night. For Ralph Valenti, my name is Michael Valenti, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Squared Circle Psychobabble.